This is Real Deal Sports Talk with KP, January 12th, 2019.
Hey, yo, we way too close to the edge, so stop pushing us. Sending all our soldiers to war, they George Bushing us. People lie down from the bullets daily in Chi-Town. Nobody's exempt, I even seen it in my town. Who lives matter? Nobody's really listening. They still getting sick from the water in Flint, Michigan. Dakota Access Pipeline hurt the indigenous. Poison our own people for profit, this shit's ridiculous. You want some information, I give you a little piece. Somebody's making millions off murders in Middle East. Who's manufacturing guns, drugs, and ammunition? How many corporations controlling these politicians? Turn your cameras on so these people can see the picture. The poor get left behind, but the rich is getting richer. I'd rather die as a free man than live in fear. We'll always be here on God's earth, we'll never disappear.
Long and winding road that leads me.
And this is Real Deal Sports Talk. I am your boy KP. It is January 12th, 2019. We have divisional round football taking place this weekend. It is the best round of the playoffs until you get to that final Sunday of the NFL season, that being the Super Bowl this year. So, once again, who did I have this weekend? Let's just get it out there. Make sure we get all the games. I'm taking the Chargers. I'm taking the Colts. I'm taking the Rams. I'm taking the Saints. The games are kicking off here in about an hour. Find yourself a seat. Find yourself a homie to kick it with. Get yourself a cold pop. Maybe a whiskey and a cigar. Sit down, kick back, get some snacks. Watch the game and enjoy. Oh, baby! Are we ready for some football? It is a divisional round. This is where I love football at this time of the year. Now, I don't often get to see my team, the Lions, play at this time of the year. That's fine. It's all good. I gave Pops his birthday present already, and I'm taking Pops to the Lions-Broncos games this year when Detroit comes into Denver to take on the Broncos in the 2019 season. But getting back to it, we got the divisional round. We got 4 great teams. 2 of these teams are going to make it on. 8 great teams, 4 of these teams will move on to the championship round, and then 2 of those teams will move on to the Super Bowl. It's great. I'm excited, even without my guys in it. I can't wait to see some good football being played today. Now, on today's show, we're going to catch up on the NBA a little bit. We want to talk about the winners and the losers in the coaching cycle so far. Excuse me. I want to throw my 2 cents out there about Kyler Murray and his future, whether it should be in baseball, football, both, how he should follow his heart. Just put my 2 cents out there, compare him a little bit to some of the other quarterbacks that are listed as probables in this draft. And then we got some fun facts and little stories that we'll get to at the end if we have time. But we're going to kick it off with the coaching hires, the winners and losers as I see them right now, based on who's been hired, what teams they are with, and what they have to work with, what they're going to have to try and rebuild. Do I see the coaches as a fit with these teams? Are they reaching a little bit? Hired head coaches so far. Now, we're not going to go through them in any specific order, but we will start with Matt LaFleur, Green Bay Packers. Okay. It had gotten thin there. We've talked about that on the show before. They had been doing the same thing. They had been beating the same horse. They had been beating the same drum and not getting any different results. They don't have a lot of talent there. Their profits are going down. They got a lot of money wrapped up in Aaron Rodgers, rightfully so, based on market value. Now, you can't keep doing the same thing over and over again, hoping that one player is going to save you at the end of the game, or one player can keep you close enough that at the end of the game he can do something again. That defense has some players. You know, they got young in the secondary last year. They started to find a little bit of a running game. They need some weapons on the outside that are going to be consistent. They need a tight end because Jimmy Graham just isn't cutting it anymore. So you bring in this young offensive mind. He's worked with the Shanahans. He's worked with the Sean McVays. He's been around the NFL a little bit. He's 39 years old, relatively young for an NFL coach, not relatively young as far as anything else. 39, you should probably be well established in what you're doing by then. But Matt LaFleur is an interesting one nonetheless. He's worked with some pass-happy offenses. He's worked with some run-happy offenses. He's worked with quarterbacks that can't really throw the ball. He's worked with quarterbacks who can throw the ball. It makes you think that the shift in power in Green Bay has definitely moved over to Aaron Rodgers, whether that's because of comments that he's made behind the scenes to management or whether that's because management is now wanting to keep him happy so that they can have a product on the field to continue to profit off of. But Matt LaFleur seems to, so far, have a good relationship with what's being reported with Aaron Rodgers. They seem to be on the same page. The passing coordinator was let go this week, so some changes there. They're keeping the defensive coordinator there. Overall, I like the hire of Matt LaFleur in Green Bay. I think that's exactly what they needed. They had been in the same system for so long. They just needed some new blood, and Matt LaFleur is going to offer that. Cliff Kingsbury to the Arizona Cardinals. At this point, probably my least favorite hire. Face it, everything that's been said about him is true. He's coming out of the Big 12 in a conference that there really is no defense. You're putting up 40, 50, 60 points a week, depending on what team you are. He did not have a winning record there. Sure, he coached Patrick Mahomes. Sure, he had Baker Mayfield for a sip of tea. But there's nothing there where he's proven he's going to be able to take that to the next level. There's nothing there that he's proven that he's a winner or that he's developed anything or that he can run a program to success. He got fired for not getting it done. He went to USC, committed there, uncommitted real quick because he found something better that he'd rather be doing, which is another sign of his character in my opinion. And you're coming into a situation, well, okay, you got a pretty much a young team. You got some vets there. David Johnson, 2 years out of his ACL tear. You got Patrick Peterson still. You have Chandler Jones on the outside. You have a Budda Baker, a young safety who's a stud. You have Reddick there at linebacker. Maybe you can start getting some pieces together. You bring in a Vance Joseph to be your defensive coordinator. Okay, he had 1 year as a defensive coordinator in Miami. Not great results. Better with the secondary while he was with Cincinnati. Most recent gig, head coach of the Denver Broncos, didn't work out very well at all. Showed that he had a lot of leadership flaws as far as being the head guy. It just seems like the Cardinals GM and the Cardinals brass don't know what they're doing. I mean, they're ruining the end of Larry Fitzgerald's career. They do have some pieces. They could be competitive. They look like they were going to be the next team to take over the NFC West, and they have sharply declined since they look like they were building something there. Clem is not getting it done, in my opinion, as GM, and I think that this Cliff Kingsbury hire is going to be the ultimate end of him down in Arizona as well. Bruce Arians, I like his hire down in Tampa Bay. He's familiar with everybody there. He is the boss. He is the head guy. He is the godfather. He will go down there. He will be the Kangol-wearing man of the hour in Tampa Bay. He'll get the best out of Jameis Winston, whatever that is. If that's more of the Florida State Jameis Winston, where the weapons are around him and the right system is built around what he does well, which is kind of what Bruce Arians is saying is going to happen right now with the Buccaneers. And again, he brought in some of his guys. He's got Todd Bowles to be his defensive coordinator. He's got Byron Leftwich is going to help him run the offense and be the offensive coordinator. He brought some of the other staff that he had in Arizona while he was there being successful with them. He's got some weapons. He's got a Mike Evans. We'll see what happens with Deshaun Jackson. He said he wanted out. We got a new coach. Maybe he changes his mind and decides he wants to stay there with the Buccaneers. They have a lot of young talent on the defensive side of the ball, led by a veteran in Gerald McCoy. So I really like that hire. I think Tampa Bay gets quite a bit better next year under Bruce Arians. Freddie Kitchens in Cleveland. I like that hire as the head coach only because of his work with Baker Mayfield this season. They had a bond. They figured each other out and were clicking on the same page. So to keep that continuity going, I like that. We'll see who he's able to bring in for all of his different position coaches and what's going to happen there. But this is a young team with a lot of talent that could be very exciting moving forward. Should only get better. You shouldn't really see this being a team that takes any steps back under Freddie Kitchens. Now, they do have a different defensive coordinator coming in, and a different offensive coordinator for that matter, too. So we'll see how they continue to coach these young guys up and what this team that's been loaded with draft picks for so long is going to be able to produce. Vic Fangio here in Denver, I like the hire because of what he's done on the defensive side of the ball. We'll see what he's like as a head man. But he gets Bradley Chubb. He gets Von Miller. He's going to get a Derek Wolfe, who I think will have a career year. Josie Jewell, a young linebacker. The linebacker core, Todd Davis could be the Sam Mills from the old Saints defense. Similar size, similar skill set. Sam Mills obviously a much better player than Todd Davis. But in that same kind of mold, Vic Fangio can use him. Chris Harris will be coming back. They're going to have to retool that secondary a little bit and get some corners in there who can play. They've got young safeties. I don't expect Darian Stewart to really be back. You might see him traded or let go. But going to be interesting. They're not bringing in Kubiak to be the offensive coordinator. That fell apart. He is currently still under contract as a senior personnel person, but more than likely he leaves that position because other teams are interested in him as being an offensive coordinator. I would think if Kubiak's going to be an offensive coordinator, he can't really get the band back together. He's going to have to let some of his guys go, and he's going to have to develop his system the way Kyle Shanahan has developed his system to incorporate more of these RPO-type plays, more of this misdirection and motion offense that's going on to make it hard on defenses. Adam Gase pulls the ultimate FU to the Miami Dolphins and stays in division with the New York Jets. He's got a young quarterback. He works well with the quarterbacks. We'll see what he's able to do there with the Jets. Again, Todd Bowles, he's going to be headed over to Tampa Bay. Vance Joseph is headed to Arizona as a defensive coordinator. Who else? Derek Cotter, he's staying in the AFC South, moved over to Atlanta. Vikings keep their play caller that took over partway through the season, and Kevin Stefanski, he returns there. Really, the only team that I don't like their hire, the two actually that I really don't like are Cliff Kingsbury and Adam Gase. I don't think Adam Gase is a good fit there with the Jets. Well, it'll really depending on what that staff's going to be. They bring Greg Williams over to run the defense. That should alleviate Adam Gase having to focus any attention to that side of the ball. Greg Williams should hold that down, leaving Adam Gase to be able to work with a Sam Darnold, work with the offense, and still it. Because, look, his last two jobs, Peyton Manning has helped him get. Face it. That's truth right there. So, and he stays in the division, and that always kind of irks me because you're doing that specifically to get back at your other team. I know jobs are few and far between, and you got to take them when you can get them. But I don't like it when coaches and or players stay in the division. That's like the ultimate FU to the team that you just played for. And if they hadn't done you dirty, that's just doing it dirty right there. Big winner, best hire for me. Got to be the Bruce Arians hire right now. That right now is my favorite hire. It's reported that Zach Taylor is going to Cincinnati. We'll see if that actually breaks out that way. And it's also reported that Flores is going down to Miami once the Patriots are out of the playoffs, which I kind of like that hire. Fresh blood. Could fit there with what they've got going on in Miami. New players that could be going in a new direction from the quarterback position. You bring in a new guy. He's going to have a new system, new this and that, all new down in Miami. Not really carrying a whole lot over. You've got young players. Maybe Frank Gore comes back. I like the way that those ingredients are starting to get put together. Just because of the turnover. Just because of the rebuild. It all kind of, it seems to be fitting and coming together and molding down there in Miami. Zach Taylor, don't know a lot about him. Don't know a lot about him from his time at Nebraska. But, he's part of this. Let's copycat, get the young guy, get the guy who's worked in this innovative system in here to be our guy. We've got this talent. We've got young players. Maybe it'll work. We'll see. Age, to me, is not really a factor when it comes to coaching hires. It's whether or not you are able to coach in today's game. If you can truly coach the game. And if you're doing stuff that's going to work in the game. You have to evolve. You have to get better. And if you don't, you're going to find yourself, say, like a guy like Mike McCarthy. Been a very successful head coach, but he's on the outside looking in. He's not getting a head coaching job. He's not going to be a coordinator this year. He'll look for something else probably in the 2020 season. Outside looking in. Gary Kubiak, probably on the outside looking in if he's not willing to change up his system. You have to evolve. Not to say that the offenses are really doing all that much that's different. But you have to evolve it. You have to have the misdirection. You have to have the motions. You have to have the different player combinations. You can't always have 2 tight ends and a fullback. Sometimes you need to have those extra receivers and those extra playmakers motioning out of the fullback position to be a wideout, or motioning into the fullback position or halfback position to give the running back or the quarterback extra options. To make the defenses try and figure out what's going on and where those guys are going to be breaking and what zones they're going to be going into or staying into or dropping down into, where those routes are going to be run, who's staying in the backfield to try and block and protect. Where can they blitz from? You have to keep them thinking, because if they can just tee off on you like the Broncos this year, you're not going to be successful. If they can just tee off on you like the Lions this year, you're not going to be successful. The game's evolving. You have to evolve with it. NBA has definitely been evolving. We're at a spot right now where the NBA, where everybody was screaming about, oh, you have to have superstars. You have to have multiple superstars. Small markets can't do it. Well, let me tell you what. Toronto's not a huge market. Milwaukee's not a huge market. Those are the top 2 teams in the Eastern Conference right now. How about the Denver Nuggets? Not a huge market. They're the top team in the Western Conference still for like the last 6 weeks, holding it down on the Western Conference side. Very impressive. Again, with some of their starters for the season, some of their quote-unquote bigger names not playing. Isaiah Thomas hasn't seen the court. Their draft pick, Michael Porter Jr., has not seen the court. Gary Harris has been in and out of the lineup with leg injuries. Will Barton has been out with leg injuries. Paul Millsap has been in and out with the broken foot, toe injuries. And they're still getting it done. They're playing 20, 30 minutes a player. Jokic is having a good season. They've got some guys that are going to develop into good players, into all-star players. Will they ever be superstars? No, because I think that term is just thrown around way too much. Jokic is going to be very good. He is continuing to develop. His passing skills are great. His rebounding is good. His scoring is good. They could both be a little better and more consistent. That's just real talk. But Jokic is doing his damn thing. Murray's doing his damn thing. Could be more consistent, especially away from home. He needs to step up on the road. He needs to be more consistent. Mike Malone's doing a hell of a job coaching the Denver Nuggets right now. Golden State looks like a team that's tired. Oklahoma City, they're going to be in the mix for sure. Portland's playing well, but we don't expect a lot from them. They don't seem to be a contender. They're just a solid squad right now. Clippers up and down, but they could sneak up and beat some people. Houston is figuring it out. They're going to come back up in the Western Conference. All the teams 1 through 8 in the Western Conference right now are only separated by 5 games. The Lakers without LeBron have dropped to 8 from 4. They're just 6.5 games out of first. In fact, right now, the only team that's out of it in the Western Conference, I would say, is the Phoenix Suns, because they're 19.5 back. Everybody else is within 10 games. So one slide here or there, whoo. Eastern Conference side, it's a little different. Teams 6 through 8 really don't have a chance. They're already double digits back. Their hope is just to get into the playoffs somewhere in the back end. But it's very impressive what the Nuggets are doing right now. I'm liking what Sacramento's doing. They're not way up there, but I like how that team's playing. They're a fun team to watch. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Anthony Davis because apparently everybody wants to trade for him. L.A., Golden State, Boston, maybe he stays in New Orleans. Good storylines. What's going to happen when LeBron comes back with the Lakers? Are there going to be any blockbuster trades before the trade deadline? So the NBA is fun right now, especially for somebody in Denver with the Nuggets being in first place. That's not something anybody here has ever gotten to see, especially not for this long of a time. Maybe for a game or two here and there. Back in Carmelo's days, back in the 80s, back in the 70s maybe. But the NBA is getting better. Could they be a league to challenge the NFL soon if the NFL starts to take any kind of a dip? Because they're definitely the number 2 sport. They've definitely passed baseball, and we know they're ahead of hockey. Now, if they've passed on baseball, we'll say other athletes, maybe a guy like Kyle Murray passed on baseball. We don't know. We haven't heard from Kyle Murray. We hear stories coming out from all kinds of places. But this is a story that's got me intrigued. Because here's a kid, great athlete. Baseball, football, batted right around 300 this year for OU. On-base percentage, a little over 300%, a little under 400%, I think. Not great, but good enough. Not a big home run hitter. Great fielder. Probably a better fielder than he is a hitter. Played OU football, 50 touchdowns, 4,000 or 5,000 yards. Rushing yards, rushing touchdowns. Similar in the Baker Mayfield mold in that system down there at OU. Now there's only been 3 players. John Elway, Bo Jackson, Ken Stabler, that have been drafted in either the first or second round of both Major League Baseball and the NFL draft. John Elway was a first round in the NFL, second round in baseball. Bo Jackson was first round in the NFL, second round in baseball. Ken Stabler was second in both the NFL and baseball. Kyler Murray, he was a first round pick in Major League Baseball. He could potentially get himself to be a first-round pick in the NFL. That'd be the first time any athlete had ever pulled that off. And I think he's probably a better quarterback overall than he is a second baseman or a shortstop. Now, everybody wants to talk about, his health. Right. No arguing with that. Your health in baseball is guaranteed to be better off than it would be playing football. You can't argue that. When it comes down to the health, you will be a healthier person playing baseball. And then those same people want to harp on how much more money he can make while staying healthier. Great. If that's your only focus for being an athlete, great. You go make the more money playing baseball. If you don't love football, by all means, don't take yourself out there on the field and play the game. Just don't do it. Because players will see through you. And you won't have a great career. Go play baseball if you don't love football. We don't know where his heart is at. We hear reports that maybe he's leaning. We hear the Oakland A's saying that he's leaning towards the NFL. His agent says he's going to play baseball. Of course, because his agent's going to get a larger cut if he plays baseball in the long run. Does Mayfield's success this year with the Browns make him feel like, okay, maybe, this is actually where I need to go be? Because I know if Baker can do it, I can do it. Or are these theories out there and these reports out there that now the OU's backup quarterback is transferring, that's going to allow Kyler Murray, he's going to actually want to stay back at OU for one more year. Look, he's eligible. If he wants to enter, do it. If you want to go back to college, do it. If you want to play baseball, do it. You were lucky enough to be one of the few individuals ever to be in a position to choose. You can go play baseball, make millions of dollars, be healthy, not get hits, not worry about the concussions. Or if you love football like I love football, like others love football, you can go play football. You can be an early round, maybe a first round pick. See how successful you can be. Get yourself in the right system. Or you work it to where you can play both. Maybe not right away, maybe not the first season or second season, but Bo did it, Dion did it, Brian Jordan's done it, others have done it. You work it out to where you can do both. It might be harder these days with the way players are treated as assets and investments. But you let the clubs know coming in, look, I got aspirations. I'm not just going to do what Russell Wilson does and go to spring training. I don't want to just go out there and putz around, get some publicity, play a little catch with the boys. I'm planning on going to spring training, reporting to OTAs, mandatory. I'm planning on being at training camp. I'm planning on playing some baseball. That would be great to see again. Let it happen, MLB. Let it happen, NFL. Give the kids some choices. I love it. I go for it. Be the next Bo Jackson. Be the next John Elway. Be the next Ken Stabler. Be the next Deion Sanders. Now, where does he rank amongst the other quarterbacks that are coming out, right? In my opinion, I would take him over all of the other quarterbacks coming out. Last year, my two top quarterbacks were Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson. Baker Mayfield had the best season of any of the rookies that came out. Now, this year's class is nowhere near as talented. Kyler Murray, if he comes out, he is the best in this class, in my opinion. Haskins from OSU, okay, he threw the most touchdowns in Big Ten history this season. Great, good for him. I don't see him translating to the NFL. I don't see him being a pocket passer that's good enough, and he's not mobile enough to do the offbeat stuff. Locke from Missouri. Great junior year, not a great senior year. Not sure if he's consistent enough. Not sure where his heart is. Got a rocket of an arm. Could develop into something. Never know. Greer from West Virginia. I don't see him being an NFL player. Sorry. Nice college guy. Got some stuff done there at West Virginia. I think his peak has been met. Finley, North Carolina State. Maybe a backup. Maybe a practice squad guy. Run some scout team. Thorson, Northwestern. Again. What are we looking at here? Stidham from Auburn. Jackson out of University of Buffalo. Mark Rippon's nephew out of Boise State. Jones out of Duke. Kyler Murray, you put him in this lineup. Maybe some teams want Haskins over him because of size. Maybe somebody takes Locke because of size. But he's the best player out of the group instantly. So if you're taking a quarterback in the first round, which maybe there's 2 on this list, 3 on this list, maybe you could pull that off if you're not pulling a top pick, then Kyler Murray's still the first one off the board when it comes to quarterbacks. So we'll see how it plays out. I'd like to see him, play in the NFL with the way the rules are changing, the way the offenses are changing, and the way the league is going, developing college concepts. I think he'll fit right in and do just fine. All right, let's do some fun facts before we get out of here today. Just a couple little stories before we get going on with the divisional round. We got playoff football kicking off here in less than an hour. So, with that in mind, Sean Payton this week, his motivational tactic of bringing that $250,000 and the Lombardi Trophy into the locker room and showing it to the guys, I loved it. That's tangible. I can see what I'm going to get if we win. That is my prize. That is what I'm going for right now. My salary, that contract, that's for 17 weeks of the regular season. That's what I get if I win the Super Bowl. That's my player's cut right there. That's the trophy we get to bring home. And you're standing in my way? You better bring it. You better have everything you got. You better have nothing you can leave on that field, you coming up against me, if that's my prize and I can see it right now. Because now it's tangible. Now it's in my head. It's different than just knowing about it. Your parents can tell you they love you, right? But if you don't feel it, it's not the same. You're just words. Well, I know the Super Bowl champion. I can hear it. I can do that. But now I can see it. I can feel that. I'm all about that. That's motivation. External motivation. I've got all the internal motivation I need. I became an NFL player. This team made it to the playoffs. Internal motivation is not being questioned. But external motivation, give me that little bit of extra. Now I got a chip on this shoulder, some internal motivation in that heart, and some external motivation of seeing that money in that trophy. Woohoo! You better bring what you got, boys. It's time to work. Divisional round, leading into the championship round to the Super Bowl. It is that time of year. Sean Payton says, y'all want this? Win 3 fucking games. Go do it. All these teams got the possibility starting today. 3 games. Go get it. Go get it. Paul Hembekids. At Paul Hembo on Twitter. He tweeted this out. Sean McVay's 32. Kyle Shanahan's 39. Matt LaFleur's 39. Cliff Kingsbury is 39. Matt Nagy is 40. We have a quarterback in the NFL who's older than all of these head coaches, and Tom Brady, who's 41 years old. That's just a fun fact right there. He's getting it done. He's older than the people that are coaching the teams. And I'm sorry, I think he's still got at least 2 or 3 years left. Put some talent around him, keep that team solid. You just keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. Last thing we'll get to, ABC wants to get in on the NFL package when it is up. I think their deals are up in 2020, 2022, something like that, with DirecTV and the different networks. ABC wants to get in on it. I saw one article this week that talked about getting rid of DirecTV and putting more games actually onto TV, whether that's Fox or ESPN Plus or ABC or ESPN, and having more games on TV like college football does. I'd be all for that. I think the DirecTV package is a joke. I think the NFL should be able to broadcast more of their games on, say, an NFL TV channel or NFL.com, or be offering their own streaming service of games to where we can sign up. An NFL Game Pass, except you can watch the games live by paying directly to the NFL. I think that needs to be part of their next TV package as well. Let these channels know, look, yes, we're going to have these deals with you, but we are retaining the solo rights as well to our content, and we will stream it, and we will stream it live also. So that's how I would approach it if I was the NFL, but we'll see. Until next time, love y'all. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the games today. You know how we do. Just be real.
Been waiting such a long time for me. This is the Cedro Zombie.
Yeah, they say that talk is cheap, but not with me if you want it first or the cost of feet. I put them seeds in the hearse the way that I torture beats. My vocal cords producing the force to lift you up off your feet. I'm off the leash when I sink my teeth in them seeds to eat. At night I stalk the streets, and the day I lay in the coffin sleep. I'm death walking on 2 feet, make it hard to sleep. The rhythm that need an exorcism, the way your heart to beat. You know we starving, these rap artists is ours to eat. And when you cough the meat, make sure you serve me the largest piece.
Fuck peace, I ain't stopping till they all deceased. Ravaged through the underground scene like a savage beast. Nightmare on Elm Street, damn it's been a wild day. Grown man business, you can miss us with the child's play. No time to waste, so I go ahead and make it fast. Covered up my face, blood dripping off the Jason mask. Microphone audio's the Twilight Zone. The Alfred Hitchcock, it is murder mystery hip-hop. Chainsaw massacre rappers make it seem effortless. Take all their possessions in seconds, call me the exorcist. Resurrect your soul from the dead, something like Lazarus. Crucify your flesh to a cross, Jesus of Nazareth. Half of these whack rap cats can never spit with me. Craft a paragraph, cause it paranormal activity. Damien had an omen for dancing around with the devil. Rise from the ash like the phoenix and never settle.
Yeah, rest in peace to all the beats that we left to cease. Rest in peace to feeble MCs, but leaving them 6 feet. Your dance moves and your weak rhyming is lunacy. Rest in peace to all that buffoonery, this the eulogy. Rest in peace to all the beats that we left to see. Rest in peace to fever MCs, fever 6 feet. Your dance moves and your weak rhyme is lunacy. Rest in peace to all that buffoonery. It's the eulogy. This is your me. So I guess this is eulogy.
The living among the dead.